Good morning, a very good evening to you. It's me, Scottie McClue. We are, of course, live on Q96. That's the country's top radio station. That's the big one, the one everyone's talking about, and the one everyone is listening to. Now, tonight's phone-in, of course, it's no secret. It's on Law and Order, and the lines are already jammed. Absolutely stowed out the door and step it through. Thanks be to you lot, the good burghers of the west of Scotland, chomping at the bit. That's what you are. Right, what are we discussing tonight in our Law and Order phone-in? Well, I can tell you, to stop the violence in our streets. What about the return of the death sentence? I think this is a big winner here. The return of the death sentence for murder. Now, I'm not talking about hanging here. These are not empty words I'm talking about a lethal injection, right? We read in the papers day and daily. We see on our national news, on radio, and on television too, day and daily, that there's been another killing, another murder, somebody's been stabbed, shot, all that sort of thing. And what I say is the person who's done it, once you've got them, once the DNA is sorted out, you inject them with a lethal cocktail that will take them away to their makers in 30 seconds, and they have gone from the earth, gone from the world. They're evil, deranged, damaged spirits, absolutely gone. Right, so that's what we're talking about there. I'm going to give you the telephone number on that one, 0141 429 0963. I don't think we can be lenient. I don't think we can be namsy-pamsy. I think we've got to quite clearly say this is the answer to our problems. If we've got killers walking the earth, then we must kill them. An eye for an eye and a life for a life. And the introduction of drug camps for addicts with drugs on prescription. Now, this follows on with what we were talking about last week. You heard it here on Q96, and of course everyone picked it up. The British Bottom Cream, the newspapers, everybody picked up on the programme. And we're talking about drugs available on prescription, drugs supplied by the government to the addicts. Now, you put them in a camp and they can take as many drugs as you feel that they want, or they feel that they want, but they can't then leave the camp until they're clean for 6 months. So the camp is a secure institution, and they can take as many drugs as they like and, enjoy their habit, sit there injecting government heroin and cocaine and cannabis and all that sort of thing. But there needs to be a complete and full register of addicts. So every junkie in Scotland needs to be on a computer database so that we know exactly who the junkies are, because obviously junking themselves up with stuff is going to damage their brain. That means they become mentally unstable. And we've got a register of mentally ill patients, so we should have a register of all the drug addicts in the country. Now, the knife crime, I think that all knives should be licensed, and it should be quite illegal to sell knives to unsuitable persons. Now, you can help me compile the list of unsuitable persons, but as far as I'm concerned, unsuitable persons are, say, someone in the city wanting a Bowie knife, right, that would be used by fishermen, by people who sail or something for emergencies, so that kind of thing. So I think that has to be kept a very, very close eye on. But I think all knives have to be licensed, and if anyone manufactures knives or sells knives to unsuitable persons, then a serious term of imprisonment, right? Imprisonment, definitely, big style for that. So there we are, a license for all knives, and you have to have a reason for carrying it. The same as firearms, because they're lethal. They're lethal like firearms, and I think the government could probably make a few quid out of this as well, because it's you could charge for a knife license. I think that would be fair, because you've got to have a pretty good reason to actually carry a knife at all. Also, I think that the police should dispense with all their stab vests and what have you. It should be a question of if the government has the political will and they clamp down on all these things, the police would not need to be wearing body armour. I mean, a lot of this has come in from government policies in the last 10 years. We've had a massive, massive rise in violent crime in this country. And this is just namsy-pamsy politicking. It's as simple as that. Lefty-wefty nonsense. And we need to come down very hard on those that break the law. I mean, Dr. Reid is telling us at the weekend that the public should step up to the war on crime and... you know, the British people should have a go at all the gangs and things like that. But think about it. What's the point in having a go if British society and the British institutions are not actually going to back us up? So there you are, because I think we need full-time backup with that. You must get the backup. In other words, if you make a citizen's arrest or you kick the sheesh out of a burglar, then the police and the courts back you 100% and say, no, you're quite right. The burglar should never have been there in the first place. Also, the burglar was armed. That is dangerous. We will sort the burglar out, and thank you very much indeed for kicking the sheesh out of the burglar and for bringing them to our attention. Very, very much appreciated. We will now make sure that the judge gives this burglar, you know, with the sheesh kicked out of him, a very, 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 very severe sentence indeed, and a massive dressing down. So there we are. Right, that's what I feel about it. You tell us what you think. 0141 429 0963. You get this number down with a stub of a hard black pencil, a threepenny jotter with nae batter beside your telephones, and you always have that number handy, because there will come a time in your life when you think, I want to get through to Scottie McClue live on Q96. The lines are jammed. You will have a problem getting through. The best thing to do about this is to keep ringing and keep ringing and keep ringing and redial and redial and redial. Remember that the winner never quits and the quitter never wins. Everyone wants to talk on the phone in. We will do that in an orderly fashion. Take your place in the queue. Remember as well to stay on when you do get through. That's the most important thing. You have to actually stay on. It's a very, very big phone-in programme on a very, very big radio station. This is Scotland's only massive mega phone-in at night time on the radio. So this is the Scottish Radio phone-in, right? That's what it is, and this is where Scotland wants to chit-chat, debate, talk. But tonight, I want to clear up the law and order thing. I think that's very important. If you've got any other subjects or any other problems that you want aired on the wireless, please, by all means, feel free to pick up the telephone and dial 0141 429 0963. Remember, you are on Q96. It is the country's top radio station. Forsake all other radio. Draw a line under it and move on. This is radio for the 21st century. This is your local radio station. If the radio station doesn't have Scottie McClue on it, forget it. Right, John and Paisley, Dinky Doo, sir. How you doing?
I'll phone you in a wee while, right? Just listen out for me.
Phone me in a wee while? You'll phone me in a wee while?
How you doing?
Are you there, John?
Yes, I'm here. How are you doing, Scottie?
Are you going to phone me in a wee while?
Yes.
Yes, and I have to listen out for you.
Yes.
Right, okay then. When are you going to phone me? Are you there?
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Yes, when are you going to phone me?
Well, I'd like to phone you just now and speak
just
to
now?
you.
Sorry, you said I'll phone you in a wee while.
No, I would like to speak to you just now, Scottie.
All right, so what was all that about?
Oh, sorry. How you doing?
I'm fine, yeah. Why did you want to phone me in a wee while?
Oh, I got a little bit mixed up there.
All right.
Right.
So did I.
Right, I see. What I'd like to talk about is the death penalty.
The death penalty, yes.
Yes.
To stop the violence in our streets.
Yes, basically, yes.
Yes.
And what I would like to say is, I think the death penalty is a certain subject that doesn't appeal to a lot of people. But I think for, murderers and
Listen, it might not appeal to a lot of people, but we've got to get the truth on here, John, and we've got to think about bringing it back, because all the namsy-pamsy, lefty-wefty, laboury stuff doesn't actually hold any water. We've got street violence that has gone up in this country, and we need to get it back down again. We just need to put a stop to it.
Well, my personal opinion, Scottie, is, like, paedophiles and rapists, I think that should be the death penalty as well. I'm a strong believer in the death penalty, you know what I'm saying? For people who maybe rob and stuff like that and do bank jobs and stuff like that, I don't think they deserve it. But for murderers and rapists and paedophiles...
Now, wait a minute. People that do bank jobs and stuff like that, what do you mean they don't deserve it? Of course they deserve it. They're big crims as well. And very often these people kill folk involved in it. They kill guards, and look at the great train robbery.
Oh, well, you've got a point there, Scottie.
No, I think I'm not talking about hanging here, John. I'm talking about lethal injection.
Oh, nothing inhumane.
No.
Nothing inhumane.
No, I'm talking about the big jag for them. If they've, like, for instance, there's several murders in the paper today. Right? Some of them in Glasgow. And I mean, these people are needing to be put down.
Yeah, well, I couldn't agree with you more, Scottie. I mean, as I was saying, obviously I said a minute ago that I didn't believe in people who done bank jobs and that shouldn't be injected. Obviously, if they kill one of the security, I'm all for that. But in general, I would say paedophiles and rapists is my strongest point.
So they should...
How do you feel about that, Scottie?
Put down the paedophiles by all man.
I totally agree with you. I'm right into the hanging.
Rape?
All sorts.
Well, not hanging. This is a lethal injection we're talking. No, not hanging, John. No, I don't think we'd get hanging through the House of Commons and the House of Lords.
Well, I don't think that could happen, but, I mean, what do you personally think, Scott?
I think,
they'll bring the death penalty back?
Well, I think they should certainly look at it, because we're not getting the message across to serious criminals, and our streets need to be taken back and to be kept safe. And law-abiding citizens need to be kept safe.
Yes. And I don't see what all the big fuss is about, Scottie, because people are so against the death penalty. But so if it was their child who was murdered by a rapist, they would have a different opinion then.
Yeah, but these people are obviously not aware of what's happening in the real world. Anybody that's against the death penalty hasn't really thought it out.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
The one thing you'll get from me, from Scottie McClue and the Wireless, is we always think things out first.
And I couldn't agree with you more, Scottie. I really couldn't agree with you more.
That's it. Well, lovely to talk to you, John, and thanks very much for that. Phone us back later if you want. 0141 429 0960. It's normally only once a night, but intelligent people, well, I mean, my goodness me. He was shouting he'd phone us back later. I don't know what he was on about. Right, to the telephones, folks. We've got a lot to get on with tonight and a lot to discuss. Very, very, very serious subjects. Remember, if there's anything on the telly, the World Cup, soap operas, all that stuff, set your videos, set your DVDs, set all your things, set your jam, set anything you like, but make sure you never miss a moment of Scottie McClue. You miss a moment of McClue and Q96, you miss a moment of life. It's as simple as that. To the telephones as soon as you can. We're talking law and order tonight, and the telephone number is 0141 429 0960. Also, if someone has been the victim of rape, should they keep the child? If there was a child as a product of that crime of rape, should they keep the child? Tell us yes or no. 0141 429 0960. You're listening to Scottie McClue and Q96, Talk Radio for Scotland and the world. If you're on the line and ringing, stay there. I'll come back to you just after this. Remember, we're on here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with all the very, very finest in music, all the top tunes, and all the very finest in Scottish broadcasting talent to deliver it just for you live on your local radio station, Q96. That is the big one. And Sunday to Thursday, 10 o'clock sharp until midnight, Scottie McClue live with you here with the Scottish radio phone-in. What a gift to you, Lottie. And the wonderful thing is that we know we can rely on you for good quality debate and chit-chat with a CH. We're talking about stopping violence in the street tonight and bringing the death penalty back in the form of lethal injection of first-degree murder. And the introduction of drug camps for addicts with drugs available on prescription, but you can't leave the camp unless you've been clean for 6 months, so you will get locked up to take your drugs. Knife crime. All knives should actually be licensed, and it should be illegal to sell them to unsuitable people. And the Home Secretary, Dr. John Reid, his have-a-go policies. I say we will have a go if he can sort it out for the police and the judges to back us up big style. We're talking to Betty, who's in Nits Hill. Are you there, Betty?
Hi, Scottie.
Hello, darling. Dinky Doo.
Dinky Doo to you.
Now then.
I'll tell you why I'm phoning. They're talking about the death penalty and how you should bring it back for like paedophiles and rapists and things like that.
Paedophiles, rapists, murderers, Betty.
Well, I don't really agree with that, but Scottie, I'll tell you why.
Of course. You'll have to.
Well, I feel as if you should leave them in prison and let them rot. I think it's an easy way out just to kill them.
Well, no, you see, I think we need to clean the earth. We need to scour the earth of that kind of low life. And, it should never, ever come about anyway. We shouldn't even have these people in society, Betty. Plus, it's very expensive to keep these people in the jail. And why should the poor old taxpayer pay for just having that sort of low-level scum-sucking pond life kept alive?
I know, but do you not think it would be better, Scottie, if they were left in prison to rot?
No, because they won't be left in prison to rot. I mean, a lot of them might be let out after 10 or 12 years.
Oh, but they should let them rot.
Yes, well, I mean, if you let them rot, you're talking maybe 70 years in the nick.
Well, if that's what the sentence should be, that's what it should be.
I mean, look at Hindley and Brady. I mean, none just was a bit ridiculous. If they should actually have put them down.
I know, I can understand where you're coming from, but I think it's too good for them, Scottie, just to take their life away like that.
Well, I think it's too good for them to leave them sitting watching colour telly and all the rest of it.
I wouldn't give them all that. I'd leave them in a cell.
Well, no, that's what they
give
give
them. Bread and water and nothing else.
No, they don't do that, you see. They give them colour telly and
I know you've
all
got
the rest
to
of it.
PC, but I think it's about time we went back to...
Oh, there's nothing PC. We need to get rid of this PC, I'll tell you that, Betty.
A load of nonsense.
A complete load of bunker, my darling.
Oh, it's nonsense. I agree with you there, Scottie.
Excellent. Good for you. I shall put this to the nation and we'll catch up again soon.
I thank you very much.
I thank you, my love. Dinky Doo. 0141 429 0963. Psychic Sam.
Hello, Scottie.
How are you doing, Psychic Sam?
I'm not too bad.
Listen, I think we've had an impersonator on here. Is that right?
You may have done, yes.
Yes.
There are some people who don't believe in psychics in the area.
Right. And they tend to see if they can mock. Would that be right?
Yes, that's right.
And I mean, do you think that there's anything in this psychic thing? I mean, obviously you do because you're Psychic Sam, but I mean, what's involved in being Psychic Sam?
Well, I'm the seventh son of a seventh son.
Right.
So basically it goes back to all that where my great-grandmother was a spay wife.
Oh, the spay wife. Yes, a good old Scottish thing that. Now, what was the spay wife then?
She was classed as being like in the early Victorian days of being the midwife and what have you, and a seer.
Was she a witch?
They would have classed her as a witch, yes.
A wise woman.
A very wise woman. An intellectual woman like yourself.
Did she suffer a lot of abuse from people?
She did, yes. There was people who persecuted her all through her life. But there was also people who would come and get their tea leaves read by her.
Yes, and look after her and appreciate her.
Yes.
Excellent. The spay wife. I've heard about this. Was there a spay wife in every town and village then?
No. It's a very special gift.
I've heard the term.
It's a gift that's given to certain people. Most people are psychic, they just don't develop
They don't develop the skills and the gifts, yes.
And when, as a child, that you realise you've had it, it can be quite frightening when you see maybe a deer or something coming through your bedroom.
See a deer come through your bedroom?
Yeah, so that actually happened to me when I stayed with my great-granny. She stayed up in Oban.
So you actually see things?
Yes.
Ah.
See and hear things.
You see and hear things?
Yeah,
yes.
I've got what's called a psychic guide. His name's Tam.
Right.
And he was actually murdered in Glencoe.
Oh, I see. So he's a spirit guide?
Yes.
Right. So he was murdered, what, at the Glencoe massacre?
Yeah, but he's actually telling me, I know you're a very learned man, and there's a lot of myth about Glencoe.
Right. Now, wait, let's get the exact date. Was it 1683 or...
1691.
1691. Right, and this was the order that Campbell signed, the Earl of Stair signed on the back of the Seven of Diamonds, is that right?
That's right. Now, a lot of people think it was just the Campbells that were killed.
Right.
But Tam was actually...
Well, it wasn't Campbell's, it was McDonald's.
McDonald's, that's
Yes.
right, yeah. But there was actually a lot of McKeans killed as well.
The McKeans, the son of John.
That's right, yeah. I mean, the historians go on about that it was just the McDonald's that were killed.
Right.
But a lot of people miss out. This is what Tam is telling me tonight, to remind people that the McKeans were also murdered on that evening.
This the massacre of Glencoe.
Yes, it happened at 5 o'clock in the morning.
They got up after taking their hospitality and knifed them all.
That's right. I mean, that was on the you're shouting dates here at me.
No, that's okay, don't worry.
It was the 13th of February.
13th of February, 1691.
And they were all slaughtered. I mean,
I wonder if it was a Friday.
that I can ask him that.
Now, you see, you say they're the seventh son of the seventh son, but I mean, there must be stacks of seventh sons around.
There is, yes, but people just choose to... You can either accept the gift or block it out, and a lot of people block these things out.
Now, why do they block it out? Is it a fear?
It's a fear. I mean, I must admit, when I saw this dead deer running through my grand's house, it was quite frightening when you're 7 years old.
Did you wonder if you were a wee bit bonkers?
Yes, but then I started seeing other things like my great-granddad, and it was explained to me that I had the gift then.
So you've seen ghosts?
Well, I've seen spirits, shall we say. I wouldn't call them ghosts.
Right,
no.
Now what's the difference between a spirit and a ghost?
A spirit is someone who comes back to places that they like.
Right.
Whereas a ghost is someone who wants to stay. For some reason they're grounded and they leave their residual energy.
Right, now is a ghost, can a ghost be a good thing?
All spirits and ghosts are good things. You know poltergeists, where people call them, and they make noises. It comes from the German noisy ghost.
Poltergeist, yes.
Yes.
Poltergeist.
That's right.
I'll tell you what happened in here last night.
Your phones weren't working.
The phones weren't working.
Yes,
but...
I was actually up in Oban doing a reading for a lady.
Ah, yes.
And
marvellous.
I had this feeling that I must speak to Mr. McClue. Obviously, the reading took a wee bit longer than I expected with the lady. And all of a sudden, I could see Annie sitting beside you laughing.
Right.
Playing with your controls.
I'll tell you what else happened. One of our loo doors, one of our toilet doors, the outer door to the toilets, right?
Uh-huh.
Opened.
Uh-huh.
And then shut. And then a minute or two later opened and then shut again. Right now, I was sitting in here broadcasting, but I have this on good authority from another member of staff, and nobody came in or went out.
That's Annie getting your attention. Tonight she's running about with one of these things that the kids played with during her time, the metal circle.
A Gurdon Cleek.
That's the thing. She's running about with that quite
She's running
happy
about
tonight.
with a Gurdon Cleek, and,
Yeah.
and she's out with the studio tonight, is she?
No, she's in the studio.
She's there. Are you there, Annie?
That's the thing. Just keep mentioning her name every now and again.
Yes.
She seems to be a bit of an attention seeker, being honest with you.
Right. Well, I'm just wondering where she's come from.
I mean, this is things that I can look into for you.
Right.
Obviously, I don't want to take up your time because you have a very busy show.
No, now the Wizard of the Big Switchboard says the loo door that opened and shut, and then a minute or two later opened and shut again. And one of our colleagues went in and there was nobody there. And that happened to be the gents. So why would Annie be going into the gents?
It may not have been the gents when it was her building.
Ah. So
So
that might have been her bedroom or something?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean by residual energy. She's
How
not
interesting.
wanting to step into the light just now.
Right.
She's got too much mischief in her. She's a typical little girl. She's got mischief in her mind.
She's a wee rascal.
Yeah, but she's certainly not malevolent. She's
Not
a playful soul.
She's fond of McClue, I think.
I think she looks to you as maybe a father figure.
Right. That's no problem, actually. We can look after wee Annie.
I think that's all she's looking for. I mean, I will be speaking to Tam, my guide, and seeing what we can do for her to try and get her moving on.
Right,
But I
sir.
would certainly say that there's nothing to be afraid of.
And you're well known in the Paisley area.
Yes, I've also got a website. I'm not going to give it out on air, but I've made a posting on your net.
Right, no, that's fine. On the Scottie-McClue.com.
Yeah.
Right.
If people want to have a look at the website, then they're more than welcome to.
Now, the other thing I was going to say, did you call me last week and talk about a back door and a ring?
Yes. And there was a young man going to have a ring stolen.
Yes. Yes, and somebody else came on talking about that, but I think they might have been a fraudster.
Do you think so?
Yes, I think they might have been an imitator.
Probably, yes. I mean, there are people who are jealous and they don't understand the gift of being psychic. I mean, we go to places on paranormal investigations all around the country.
What about if somebody asked you if you had any messages from them for a loved one, would you probably be able to psych into that, Sam?
Yes, if I was speaking to them, or I mean, they can even send me an email with their name, and I'll probably get some information from there. I can't guarantee it all the time. Sometimes spirits just don't want to talk to you.
They don't want to talk, absolutely, and other times they want to talk, but nobody seems to want to talk to them.
That's it, yes.
Wonderful. So it's all. There's a bit of common sense involved, just with a little bit of extension.
That's it, yep.
Excellent. Sam, lovely to talk to you as usual. I shall put this to the nation, and we will take opinion from those who are informed and those who are not.
Okay, okay.
Many blessings.
Night.
Thanks again. Night, sir. God bless. Right, there we are. Psychic Sam, of course, telling it like it is. Well, like the way he sees it. The rest of you too, the telephones 0141 429 0963. We are exceptionally busy. I'll give you the subjects as soon as I possibly can. We've got Big Hamish on the drum tonight. To you there, Hamish?
Hello, Scottie.
How are we doing, sir?
Well, that bloke's something else, isn't he?
Was he frightening the life out of you?
Scottie, I was going to... If we could come back on again and tell us how we can get rid of this left-wing Labour Party.
Right, are they blowing your brain in?
I know what you're talking about.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I think I see the left-wing socialist government, right, a little bit like I saw the men who returned from the Crimea in the 1850s from Alma, Balaclava, Inkerman and Sebastopol. The charge of the Light Brigade and all that in 1856, shall we say. And when the men came back from the Crimea, right, they'd gone out there to save a way of life.
Yeah.
But the way of life that they'd been fighting for had gone. So in other words, things had moved on. And I liken our left-wing socialist present government to that they've been fighting for a way of life that has disappeared.
That's right.
You know, and what they haven't done, what they haven't done is taken cognizance of the way of life, the way life have gone. They haven't controlled the movement forward. They've been so busy rooted in the past, wondering if they could get back to the days of James Maxton and John McClane and all that kind of thing. That's completely irrelevant nowadays.
The same way I see it.
You know, completely irrelevant. Does that make sense to you?
It makes 100.
And of course, what happens is
that thing's 110%. It'd be right.
110%. And I mean, the Neds and all the low lives and the scum-sucking pond life have actually taken advantage of the easy-ozy, namsy-pamsy climate that's been created. In other words, they're going for soft targets, like people that might be doing more than 30 miles an hour. They'll get them. People that are parked in a double yellow line.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the police are done up like 12th century nights.
See, if I could just explain this government is just like the elevator that's not going up to the top dancer.
They're not going to the top floor?
They're all going to the top floor.
Right.
Definitely not Scottie. Anyway, just before I leave
what would you say? Do you think that the last 10... I mean, Tony Blair talks about how history will judge us. Do you think history will just pay lip service?
Well, I'll tell you how I would put it. Do you remember the old Glasgow? I don't know if you were around that time, Scott. I don't know your age, and I don't want to know you. It's your own business. But do you remember?
I don't know my age myself.
Do you know the Glasgow? Do you remember the Glasgow Empire?
The Glasgow Empire, yes. The theatre.
Well,
Markham and Wise used to appear there.
They tell me that the fruit shops round about it sold out a rotten fruit. They sold more rotten fruit than what they actually sold good fruit.
Good fruit, yes.
And they would be taking them into the Glasgow Empire. Now, if the Labour Party was in at that precise time, and the policies are given out now, and they were up the stage what a learning they would get with a rotten fruit.
Well, Bob Monkhouse and Morecambe and Wise used to say that the Glasgow Empire, if you could get through the Glasgow Empire, you could
make
get
it
through
anywhere in the
anything.
world.
Yes.
You make it anywhere in the world.
Where was the empire situated then?
The Glasgow, I was in a city centre somewhere, Scott. I think round about St Enoch's, somewhere round about there.
Right, and when the old empire, and when did it finish up?
Oh, I think it was the very early, about 59, 60, 61.
Very early 60s, so not long before the Alhambra and all that.
That's right.
Yes, absolutely. The Glasgow Empire. I bet you if I'd gone to the Glasgow Empire, I wouldn't have even had a grape flung at me.
No, you wouldn't have. Scottie, the whole nation was saying Dinky Doo. Well, we're saying that now, but away back then when they're just a wireless and that.
Would have come out and would have gone, Dinky Doo, everybody!
The newspaper man would Time Short Citizen, read all about Scottie.
Scottie McClue.
Scottie, could I say before
Time's final.
Could I say hello to my big pal Bob
Of
and
course you
Laura?
can. Of course you can,
Emma and wee Jamie.
Nay bother.
They're tops.
Tops, and so do you, Dinky
And I hope
Doo.
they enjoy their curry tonight.
Oh, they'll enjoy their curry.
God bless Scottie.
God
Good night.
bless Hamish. All the best. Right, folks, to the telephones. We are exceptionally busy, but please don't surrender your place in the queue. You redial and redial and redial. We will get you all on 0141 429 0960. If you've just joined us, welcome to the programme. Of course, it's Law and Order tonight. It's a very, very big one. Now, we're talking about stopping the violence in the streets. I'm proposing the return of the death sentence for murder. Now, I'm not talking about hanging here. I'm talking about lethal injection. So if a person is found guilty of killing another, then it's good night Vienna for them. And this would get the message across big style that violence was completely unacceptable in the streets of Scotland. Right? We will not have it. And the introduction of drug camps for addicts. Drugs available on prescription, as we talked about last week, but you cannot leave the camp until you're clean for 6 months. So you decide how long you want to stay in the camp, right, by your behaviour. And there should be a full register of addicts on a computer database so we know who are junkies and we know who are not. Knife crime, it should be, all knives should be licensed. It should be quite illegal to sell knives to unsuitable persons. Now, you can compose your own list of unsuitable persons, and I would say people that are living in the city centre who say they're deep-sea fishermen and they need the knife to cut their nets, that sort of nonsense. And also, Dr. John Reid has toyed with the idea of having a go at criminals. What I say to him is, Dr. Reid, yes, we'll have a go at the crims. We will kick the sheesh out of burglars and all the rest of it, provided the police, the courts, the judges, the lawyers, everybody backs us up big style, right? So we make it that you virtually cannot be convicted under any circumstances for kicking the sheesh out of a burglar that you've caught in your home. Once we get that undertaking from the Home Secretary, then I think we would be more tempted to have a go. Also, if somebody's been the victim of rape, should you actually keep the child? If there is a child involved as a result of that rape, should you keep the child? A yes or a no would suffice, or if anybody's got anything particularly constructive to say on the matter, 0141 429 0963. And polygamy, should men be allowed to have more than one wife? I say, well, why not? You know, you're putting bread on two tables, but if you can keep the show going, if you can keep the show afloat, then why not? John from Cathcart, you're coming up next. The rest of you into an orderly queue, and I shall talk to you as soon as I possibly can. You're listening to Scottie McClue. We're live on 0141 429 0963 Q96. 96.3 FM if you're listening in the west of Scotland. Digital audio broadcasting DAB. And also if you're listening throughout the rest of the planet, then you're listening on Q96.net. Go on to Q96.net. See the station, see the prizes, see the presenters, see all the wonderful things involved in your local radio station and bringing radio for the 21st century direct to you. I'm Scottie McClue, Dinky Doo. Back after this. Ah, yes, quality stuff. You're listening to Scottie McClue. We're live on Q96. That's the big one, 96.3 FM. Digital audio broadcasting, DAB, and, of course, Q96.net for the rest of the planet. Telephone number for the hard of thinking, 0141 429 0963. Get it down with a stub of a hard black pencil and a threepenny jotter with nae batter beside your telephone, because there will come a time when every single person will want to ring Scottie McClue. So there you are. Very, very important. Just a word about the television at the moment. I know that we've got competition stuff on. We've got, the World Cup. We've got soap opera time changes and all the rest of it. It would probably help you if you DVD'd or videoed or, time changed, time transferred some of these things so that you don't miss a second of the phone in. You miss a second of McClue, you miss a second of life. Remember, all other radio stations wish they had this phone-in program. Q96 have got it, and God bless them for that, I say. 0141 429 0963. Just a word about the websites, q96.net. Get onto that one. You'll also get a feed on Scottie-McClue.com, SCOTTIE-MCCLUE.com. That's the official Scottie McClue website. If you click on latest news, you'll see that just earlier today we've started our first podcast, and for people who for some reason can't hear the phone in, then can click on that and they will get a full phone in program. So there you are, a full phone in program live on Scottie McClue's website, scottie-mcclue.com. There's everything else there. There's forums for discussion, there's the guest books, there's photographs, audio, video, anything you can ever want for people who are fans of Scottie McClue, disciples of McClue. Then that's your answer to Utopia. 0141 429 0963. We're very, very, very busy tonight. You may well not get back you may not get onto the phone in at all tonight, to be quite honest with you, but keep trying. Good luck to you. 0141 429 0963. I'm talking to the stupid old fool on Old Fogies.
Hi there, Scottie. How you doing?
How are you doing, stupid old fool?
Not too bad. I'm not going to talk about old fogies. Is that what the Wizard of the Big Switchboard is saying to you tonight?
The Wizard of the Big Switchboard said that the stupid old fool wants to talk about old fogies.
No. That's not the case. No, I actually want to talk about drugs.
Yes.
Yes. No,
I think he's put down stupid old fool because he's misspelt stap it foo.
Stap it foo.
Yes,
stap it foo at the door, Scottie.
So we'll stap it foo tonight. Now then.
Yeah. But it's with regard to the drugs thing. A couple of points on the drugs thing, one of which is related to what you're saying, the other of which is just a related point. First of all, with regard to people who have, a solution for people who have problems, serious drug problems, like, say, for example, addictions to heroin or whatever else it happens to be. And, there's no point in sending them to clinics or whatever. I think a great way of solving that problem, for people who genuinely want or we need to get them off drugs, I think a great idea would be to take over some remote Scottish island or other, away out near Barra, some of these islands. These uninhabitable Scottish islands that we have.
What about Groonyard, where they had the anthrax at one point and had to clean the island up?
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be as good a place as any as well, absolutely. And that island's taken over, and effectively a little colony is created where it's not quite obviously as severe as sending them to Australia back in the old days or anything like that.
Well, I was just going to say, are you talking about a penal colony?
Effectively, yes, a short-term penal colony.
Good stuff. Go on, yes.
Effectively, it's a short-term penal colony where obviously people who have these problems, they get on and they cannot get off the island. And the only other problem and they're kept there for a period of time, maybe 6 months, a year, and whatever they have in terms of food and perhaps some education to serve some useful purpose, then that type of thing's okay. The only other problem that you would have is making sure, as is in the case of prisons, that stuff that's getting onto the island is protected, to make sure that people aren't smuggling drugs in. But a lot of that can be done by choking off their contact with their relatives and friends. You know,
yes, I mean, I've never ever understood it, but in a high security prison,
yeah, exactly.
how can you possibly get drugs in? I mean, the staff must be in on it somewhere, or there must be an element of a blind eye turned to it.
I don't know, but I think a lot of these problems could be solved if you had proper security on a remote island. I agree with you. I mean, I think there's a lot of problems in prisons where the warders are possibly that not well paid or whatever it happens to be. But if you had people that...
you see, what it would be worth doing, actually, stupid old fool, not. What it would be worth doing is saying, look, what's this costing us economically?
Yes.
And what you have is very well-paid prison warders that
Absolutely.
look after this lot. And you say, now look, you're really extremely well-paid, you guys here. There's no need for being bent or twisted or
Exactly.
stupid.
You're not needing backhanders from
No.
gangsters or whatever. I mean, I find it amazing when I
So
hear
if
the
we
stories about...
if we sniff one drug coming in here that shouldn't be on this island, then you will lose your job.
Yeah, that's basically it, and you will also end up behind bars as well. I don't think just losing their job. I mean, it does amaze me, Scottie, that the tales of how things get into prisons, and I've spoken to people who have an experience of this kind of thing, have been behind bars, and it's like, well, we always find a way of getting it in. Well, just surely there must be some way of stopping that, even within prisons, and even, and sure, the best way to be would be to set up like a remote colony where some very high-paid people check literally everything that's going in, and by that I mean every single radio, every single cake, every single
sniffer dogs, all the rest of it. Break the cake open.
Break the cake open, absolutely.
So your birthday cake, you're going to get crumbs for your birthday, but nevertheless, it's a cake from home.
It's a cake, yeah, and it amazes me that there are people that I know who have said that being in prison, that's when they find they're in prison perhaps for drug offences or what happens to be, they have more access to drugs in prison. Now, why should that be so?
Oh, a piece of nonsense.
I mean,
something's not working.
Mm-hmm. Something's not working. I mean, I might be wrong about this, Scottie, but I happen to think that having some kind of colony where people are given a chance to have some kind of separate life, and I'm not just talking about keeping them in prison, I'm not suggesting a prison away out on an island, I'm suggesting some kind of colony where they're given some kind of life skills.
Yes.
Whether that's teaching them to make cakes or hopefully without drugs in them in this case. But,
tell me, here's an interesting thing. We've mentioned big salaries for drug warders.
Yes.
What about if we promise jobs and good salaries for the addicts?
Well, it's a
In
question
other words,
of,
you get them cleaned up, you get them off the drugs, and you say there is a job waiting out there at, £40,000 for you as soon as you can clean your act up.
Well, that's as may we, but that would be very nice. But there's a lot of people earning a lot less than $40,000 a year who would be very upset about the fact that. So what that doesn't necessarily add up, because if what you're saying is.
Well, we're talking about buying them clean. I mean, think of the damage and the cost and everything that a junkie, the pressure that a junkie puts on the state. Mm-hmm. In terms of damage, burglary, assault, cost, health costs, all that kind of thing.
They do, but I think people who are in jobs earning, I mean, you might be exaggerating a bit there with the $40,000 a year thing, because I think people who are in jobs a lot less than that.
Well, okay, 20 grand.
Well, yeah, okay, that's probably more, but it's almost like saying, well, get a free the logic of what you're saying there is get a free education and therefore, become a drug addict, come off drugs and get a free education. There's probably a lot of truth in that. Anyway,
so we actually buy them out of their habit.
Mm-hmm. That's not necessarily a bad idea. Yeah, I think there's a lot of legs to be had in that. Because people have the skills to do things, and the only reason they haven't had the chance to exploit these skills is because of perhaps their upbringing, perhaps their environment, perhaps the choices they've made. And yes, if they can be given that opportunity again, then I think there'd be a lot of legs in that.
Stupid old fool, I'm going to call you brilliant young genius from now on.
No problem. Just another thought with regards to the drugs thing as well.
Yes.
Thank you very much. This is also a provocative one, but a lot is made on suppliers and catching suppliers. What about the people that are using them? Now, not just... I'm going to make a provocative statement here, but I would suggest the people that are using, say, soft drugs, particularly something like ecstasy and cocaine, but let's just take ecstasy as a good example.
I wouldn't say cocaine's a soft drug. I would say ecstasy or cannabis.
Oh, yes, absolutely. They're not necessarily, on a scale, they're not necessarily as hard as, say, crack or heroin.
Yes.
But If you were to go, for example, to a typical nightclub in Glasgow, let's just, without naming names here, say nightclubs, they specialise in dance music, okay? You would probably find, and research has been done in this.
Are you talking like the Circassian Circle and the Eightsome Reel?
Well, we're maybe talking the sort of modern-day equivalents of those things.
Right, I'm with you, yes.
I don't know quite what they had going in those days at these places. Maybe
I think there was ice cream and jelly at half-time.
Ice cream and jam at half-time and a bit of snuff.
Yes.
But say, for example, if it is widely accepted that a significant minority or perhaps even majority of people in Glasgow city centre at certain establishments that are known for playing dance music, and you see them advertised in the paper saying an up for it night, and that's a euphemism for people getting high on drugs. What about if they just set up a police van outside and randomly drug tested some of the people coming out of these places and then randomly prosecuted them? Would that not set an example as not to do drugs?
I think that is an excellent idea. Brilliant, brilliant young genius. I'm going now.
It's been a pleasure, Scottie.
It's always a pleasure. Dinky Doo.
Okay, take care.
And you, sir. Right, to the telephones, 0141 429 0963. The lines are still jammed, folks. Hello, John and Cathcart. No, John's not there. He's obviously a half-witted idiot. If you've got no intelligence, please do not ring this programme. We are far too busy for that. Willie and Carlton.
Hi, Scottie.
How are you doing, sir? Listen.
Not too bad.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Listen, thank you very much for all that stuff you sent me. That was very informative.
The taxi book.
Yes.
I thought you would like it.
And also you sent me the other information about
the monument.
About Erskine.
No problem at all.
Yes, Lord Blantyre.
Yes.
That's fantastic
you got it
stuff.
Okay.
I did indeed, Willie. Thank you. It's very much appreciated.
The taxi book's very good indeed, actually. I thought you liked that.
Yes, of course I do.
The one tonight, Scottie, was Hamish for the drum.
Yes.
Mentioned the Glasgow Empire.
The Glasgow Empire Theatre.
It was in Sucky Hall Street, just as you go into West Nile Street.
He thought it was... now, wait a minute. Let's get... I'm just trying to get West Nile Street, so you're coming down Sucky Hall Street.
Right. It's the end of Sucky Hall Street.
Yes.
And he...
Wait. Just past where the McClellan Galleries were?
Past that, well past that on the other side.
What coming into town?
Going away from town.
Oh, going out to town?
Yeah, going towards West Nile Street. You know, down towards West Nile Street. And
as far along as that?
Oh, yes, aye. That's what it was.
Right.
That's what it was.
But you're getting on down towards the Kings and everything.
The Kings, of course, opposite end, Bath Street.
Bath Street, yes.
But I mean... Up towards Charing Cross, the Kings.
Are you going the other way?
Eh?
Are you coming into town?
Into town, aye.
Aye, that's what I've said to you.
That's
and
right.
you've said not going out of town.
Into town.
Coming into town, yes.
On West Nile Street and Sucky Hall Street.
Right, you're quite
Just
far.
there.
Yeah, you're quite far in there, of course. Interesting.
And it was Hamish from the drum mentioned also the...
Is there any of it still left?
No, it's completely gone. It was closed. The last performance was on Monday, 25th of March, 1963, as Hamish said.
Wow.
And the top of the bill was the Red Army Ensemble.
Wow.
Lots of other people, like Lonnie Donegan was there.
Yeah.
And various Glasgow artists who had appeared in it through the years, you know, was there.
And had things calmed down at the end a bit, Willie?
Oh, aye, it wasn't as bad. But the English acts getting the fruit thrown at them.
Aye.
Well... One of the brother acts, I think it was Mike and Bernie Winters.
Mike and Bernie Winters,
right.
Yes.
They came up to do a spot there, a week's variety, and one of them come on first on his own, and he wasn't doing very well. So the other bar wandered on, and somebody out and shouts out, "Oh my God, there's two of them."
There's two of them.
So that was the way the Empire was, but it's completely demolished now, you know. So from 1963, just as a matter of interest, Scottie, why? How I found out you were on the radio again was from a gentleman, a retired journalist who used to be Showbiz Sam and Deal Record many years ago.
Oh, marvellous.
Gordon Irving.
Yes, marvellous.
He's retired now, of course, but
marvellous.
He had phoned me and said, Scottie McClue is back on the radio again.
Marvellous.
So that's why I sort of I knew, because I don't sort of listen to the sort of more sort of music.
Excellent. Give him my regards if you're talking to him.
I shall see him very, very shortly.
A fine fella.
Yes. So did you know him? You know, that's good. That's fine.
That's right. A marvellous man. Yes.
Still working. Still doing the sort of the There's lots of obituaries of the stage that nobody else knows about, all the people, the early people that are dying out now.
Good on him.
Right,
Well
Scotty.
done. Yes, give him my regards, because he's a fine, he's a wonderful writer.
He is wonderful indeed.
And a great guy.
His book about the music hall he wrote, and he wrote one about the Solvay smugglers.
Yes.
Wrote the history of Dumfries Infirmary, all that sort of stuff. Wonderful person. Right, Scotty.
Lovely to talk to you. Hey, thanks very much. All the best, Willie.
Bye.
Bye-bye now. Cheers now. There we are. Tremendous stuff. 0141 429 0963. Back we go to the telephones at speed. We're talking to Gordon in Drumchapel.
Hello, sir.
How you doing, sir?
The Empire Theatre's old passport. See the passport office?
Yes.
That's the Empire where the Empire was.
Is that where it is? But it's a new building, is it?
Yes.
It's all away. That's a shame, actually, you know.
See that Hamish character who's on your show quite a lot?
Hamish for the drum.
Yes, I met him the day.
Right.
He's walking about as a mega star because he talks to Mr. McClue.
Good on him. So are you.
I'm not a mega star.
You're a mega star. Listen, Gordon, anyone that comes on here's a mega star.
I mean, he's believed he's a mega star.
He is a mega star.
You know what I mean? He's talking all the talk.
He's Hamish from the drum. Has he got the sunglasses on and the big coat?
There, autographs.
The big coat with the collar up.
The collar up, aye. So he's in his collar felt a few times, that character, I'll tell you. No names, no pack drill. We call him Tin Pale.
Absolutely, no names, no pack drill.
There you go. No, but see, it's one of the big in-peel autographs. I'm Mr. McClue's right-hand man, whatever you.
Quite right.
Eh? I'm under Barton Rock. That's what it should be.
I'm very pleased to hear it.
That's nice to know. Let him break the rocks. Take care, sir.
You look after yourself. 0141 429 0960. You're listening to Scottie McClue. We're live on Q96. Right, so much to talk about, so little time to do it in. Andrew, who's in Black Hill. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, Scottie.
How are we doing?
I'm good. Before we start about old fogies, the famous Ken Dodd, can I tell you what he once wrote about the Empire?
Go on.
Right, he wrote, Freud's theory was that when a joke opens a window, all those bats and bogeymen fly out. You get a marvellous feeling of relief and direction. The trouble with Freud is that he never had to play the Glasgow Empire on a Saturday night after Rangers and Celtic had both lost.
Can you imagine it?
Yes, I could imagine it.
Well, as I say, if I went on the Glasgow Empire, I don't think I'd even get a rotten grape flung at me.
As soon as I heard you talk about the Empire, I said, I've got a book. That's in one of my quotation books about the Glasgow Empire.
How wonderful.
But my old granda told me about it, about the rotten apples and all that.
Yeah, how wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. I think it was quite a wild place.
Oh, it would have been.
And the English acts used to come out and try them.
Remember, he boycotted it.
Who did?
Frank Sinatra boycotted it.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did.
That's interesting, because I've been fortunate enough to have met Ken Dodd and had a good old chat to him about it. He's a tremendous character.
I'd love to meet him. That was a good
tremendous
one.
Guy.
That's a good quotation he wrote anyway. I love quotation books, so I do.
Fantastic stuff.
Everybody should have them.
It's all good stuff, Andrew, I'll tell you that.
Right, old fogies. I think every person, young person who walks into a shop never see an old fogey, they should buy them a bar of chocolate.
Buy them something.
Yes, to reassure them that no, all young people are bad.
I think
to
you're
take
right.
away that scaremonger inside them.
I think you're right.
They should get public transport all over Europe, all over Britain, free of charge. If they want to go on a holiday, they jump on a plane and the government pays for it. They're on their way out in life. That's the way I look at it.
Look after them at the in the autumn of their life.
Yes.
As the sun's setting at the end of a long summer's day.
Yes. Put aside to all the old soldiers that went to war and they didn't get nothing for it. Start looking after them now.
Quite right, Andrew.
2006.
Quite right.
I know I'm right.
That is a fair point.
I know it's a fair point.
I'm sorry. Good to talk to you.
Okay, thanks, Scottie.
Dinky Doo. Now then, we're very, very busy tonight, folks, but I do want to get this sorted out, the law and order thing. Tonight's programme's about law and order. I know that we're a little bit out of sync because a lot of you are running to the telly to see what's happening in the World Cup. You're watching soap operas and all that. But get your DVDs in and record all that stuff and watch it later. Don't miss a second of the phone in because you miss a second of Scottish life. I mean, all that kayak and caca that you get on television and stuff like that, you can see that anytime, right? The phone-in is a very, very valuable national asset, and you can't afford to miss it. Tell everyone about this program, by the way. Write to them, text to them, shout out the windy Scottie McClue's live on Q96 just for you, Dinky Doo, all that sort of thing. And, of course, tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10 about Scottie McClue on 96.3 FM for the west of Scotland and for the world. What are we talking about tonight? I hear you scream at your wireless. I'm going to tell you to stop violence in our streets. I think we need to have a return of the death sentence for murder. Now, I'm not talking about hanging here, because I know we'd have problems getting that through the House of Commons and the House of Lords, but I'm talking about lethal injection. If a person is found guilty of killing another person in cold blood in the first degree, then good night Vienna to them. They're taken from the court and put down by lethal injection, because we need to get the message out to scum-sucking pond life that killing people is unacceptable in this country. One Scot killing another, absolutely unacceptable. And the introduction of drug camps for addicts with drugs available on prescription. But the important point here is you can't leave the camp until you're clean for 6 months. So you decide how long you want to spend in the camp. And there should be a full register of addicts in Scotland, a complete computer database here of all the junkies in Scotland, so that we know exactly who is who. And knife crime, I think that all knives should be licensed. You cannot carry a knife unless you are licensed to do so. And it should be made completely illegal to sell knives to unsuitable persons. Also, John Reed's talking about having a go at criminals. Yes, I think we shouldn't have a problem kicking the sheesh out of burglars. There should not be a problem with that. But what the Home Secretary's got to do for us is ensure that the police and the solicitors and the courts and the judges and the, all the people there, the JPs, the lot, are completely aware of the fact that if a burglar has had the sheesh kicked out of them, the person who's kicked the sheesh out of them cannot, in actual fact, be prosecuted. All right, to your telephones in that one. We've got Did, who's in Johnston. Hello, Did. Hello, Did. You're not listening, Did. Right. Did you call me an idiot there? Did you call me an idiot? Deedon Johnson.
Pardon?
Are you Deedon Johnson?
No.
Who are you?
I'm free.
And have you just called me an idiot?
No, I have not.
Right. I'm sure I had somebody call me an idiot.
No, it certainly wasn't me.
Right. I think the wizard of the big switchboard must have got you mixed up with someone else.
Well, I hope he has done.
I certainly hope he has. Right, Benny in Clydebank. Are you there, Benny? Oops, Benny's not there. Now, if you're not there, then I will have to go to another line. I'm sorry about that, but I really cannot put up with people ringing up and then not actually being there when your name is called. Are you there now? No, you're not there. Right, okay. We'll not give you another chance. We just shan't bother with you altogether. 0141 429 0963. Also, I want to cover the subjects that if you've been a victim of a rape and there has been a child born as a result of that rape, then should you actually keep the child? Right, I'd like to discuss that. If anyone's got any information about that, or if anyone's experienced that sort of circumstances, then do please come on, because what you've got to say may in actual fact help out hundreds of thousands of other people. 0141 429 0963. You're listening to Scottie McClue. We're live on Q96. Also, I want to talk about polygamy. Now, that means having more than one wife, multiple wives, right? Do you think that men should be allowed more than one wife? And how many should they be allowed? I say as long as you can afford to put the bread on the tables, should you be allowed 2 wives? So there you are. And then you wouldn't have to put up with snash from the missus. Who have we got here? Hello? You're live on Scottie's phone in. No, you don't seem to understand it. Right. Don't ring unless you've got something to say, something intelligent to say, and you can actually hold on till I come to you. Remember, this is a very, very, very big phone-in programme on a very, very, very big radio station. Scottie McClue, live on Q96. Those are our main subjects for discussion tonight. If you've got something else you want to talk about, if you've actually got a problem in your life, also feel free to come on and we'll see if we can provide a solution for that. Remember, we're very, very, very clever people here on the Massive Megaphone in live on Q96. Talk radio for Scotland and for the world. Back after this, Scottie McClue's Megaphone in live on Q96. So much to talk about and so little time to do it in. Now, you won't get on. It's been this all night. Jammed. Stowed out the door and step it through. That's what you expect on the country's top phone-in programme on the country's top radio station. Remember, only phone up if you've got something interesting or intelligent to say, though. And if you can't get through, please, I beg of you, keep ringing and keep ringing. This is what you've got to do. Some of you give up on the first round. You think, no, I can't get through. I can't get through to Scottie McClue, live and Q, Dinky Doo. Therefore, I'm going to give up. Remember that in life, the winner never quits and the quitter never wins. Sheena the punk rocker.
Hello, Scott. How are you?
How are you doing, Sheena the punk rocker?
I'm not bad. I always get through to you, don't I?
You do. We make sure we give you priority.
Because I love you.
You love me to bits.
You know, I say to that wizard, when I answered the phone, I says, did you get my letter? He says, no, I'm feeling better. I said, no, actually, did you get my letter? And he still doesn't know what I meant.
No, for goodness sake.
I know.
We'll have to have a word with him.
I think you'll need to go outside and give my good doing.
Yeah, we'll need to whip the wizard.
I know.
I'm not sure his lift's going all the way to the top story tonight.
Right, well, do you know
I think he's a sandwich short of a picnic sometimes.
Do you know what I want to speak to you about?
What are you going to speak to me about, darling?
Right. Men having more than one wife.
More than one wife, yes.
Two, because see, when you get fed up with one, they can go to the other person, because I'm going out with a married man. And this is a friend. This is a friend.
Oh, right. You sound like an outrageous wee rascal. Benny, are you there, Benny?
Hi, how you doing, Scottie? All right?
How you doing, mate? Dinky Doo, Benny.
First time, Dinky Doo, mate, Scottie. First time caller. So
welcome. Welcome, Benny.
I was only to defend myself, Scottie, mate. I don't really like defending myself, but I'm only to defend myself against this Billy for Clydebank action. You remember, I think we had a wee word with you. He said that there was a kind of...
Oh, yes, he said that you were giving it that.
No, do you know, see, Billy was a great friend of mine, right? His name is Vince, actually. It's no Billy.
Right, well, don't shop him, man.
Sorry, I didn't mean it there. Anonymity and all that. Oh, sorry.
Anonymity, yes.
Right, for sure. Right, but it was just the fact, man, I made a casual comment. I never made it in a malicious fashion.
Aye.
You know what I mean? But the guy's a wee bit neurotic in the head at times, you know what I mean? And he took it the total wrong way and went off on a big tangent. I thought it would have been a laugh rather than anything else.
Right, I mean? So you're needing to patch this up with him then?
Of course, man, of course. I'm willing always to honour the olive leaf and all that and put the hand of friendship.
The hands across the sea, the olive branch.
Early, man. I mean,
two white doves released.
Aye, this guy I've communicated and sat down and had coffee with and had a wee gab and all that, and he thinks I'm a bit of a sweetie wife. Well, the thing is,
you were just putting about... You just admire the fact that he's big in show business now.
Aye, that's right. Aye, I know. He's became a personality overnight.
Became a personality. He's a star.
Aye, he's a star. No, I mean, I'm only the wee monster that caused him a bother. But if he wants to talk to me, I'm willing to talk to him, Scottie.
Right, I shall put that out and we'll see if we can patch things up.
Hey, bother, Scottie, your subjects are absolutely brilliant tonight. You know what I mean? And I believe that you should give lethal injection. You know what I mean? It'd be a good cure, wouldn't it?
It would certainly put a stop to the nonsense, I'll tell you that. Right, that's our Benny. Now, listen, if Willie from Clydebank's listening, that's Benny, come on. He thinks he's the same one that's caused all the problems. He's willing to extend the hand of friendship, hand out an olive branch, release 2 white doves. I don't know... Maybe he'll even take you to Rome for Easter Sunday or something like that. But it's all happening there. So to your telephones, 0141 429 0963. Hey, we've got Willie and Dumbarton. Are you there, Willie?
Hello, Scottie.
How you doing, sir? Dinky Doo.
No bad. How are you today?
I'm great tonight, yes, fantastic.
Aye. I want to talk about your violence in the States, but first I want to say, the day I was playing my accordion at a charity, it was St Margaret Hospice.
Lovely. That was very good.
I'd say we were on the Renfrew ferry sailing up and down the Clyde.
How fantastic. You're getting about, you know.
Aye.
You're already a very famous man, you know.
Aye, it was quite good, actually.
You tell them you've broadcast live on Q96 on Scottie McClue's megaphone in.
Well,
that's wonderful.
Tomorrow as well, you know.
I'll tell you, you're going to be a world famous box player, you know.
Well, I want to be.
Is that what you do? You want to do that full time, Willie?
Aye.
My goodness.
Use that as full-time job.
That's quite a tall order, but it's just as you say, you know, I don't need to tell you, you have to practice and practice and practice all the time, because you want to be the very, very tops, and, you know, and it's all doable, you see, that's the other side of it.
Aye, just practice and get as much experience as I can.
It's the practice, and sometimes I'm sure that you could see it far enough, you know, but it's also brilliant when you know, I mean, I've spent a lot of time with musicians in my life, and they used to be practicing first thing in the morning.
Aye.
Clarinetists, flautists, you know.
Aye, I practice quite a lot myself.
Yeah, I used to go out with a lassie that played the flute and that, and she was fantastic, you know.
Aye.
Practicing.
Right, yeah, it was good getting a wee tune.
Oh, fantastic! Yes, fantastic. Yeah,
Aye.
you get a free tune, and the clarinet as well. You know, I mean, that's a wonderful thing too.
Aye.
You know, I mean, do you know there's such a thing as a laugh in the clarinet? You can actually play a laugh. All that sort of stuff. I don't know if you can have an accordion laugh.
Well, the closest you'd get is probably bellow shake.
A wee bit of bellow shake.
Aye.
I think I've had that. I was off for 3 days. He's in bed with a bellow shake.
Aye. it's quite hard to do that bellow shake, you know.
I bet it is, and to keep it going.
Aye, that's a hard thing. It actually, your arm just tenses up.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes, it's not so easy, that.
It's about your time in the States and that.
Yes.
The violence. I think that bringing in the lethal injections would work, but I think before that they should be made to pay, like, by sort of helping out somebody.
Compensation.
They should be sort of put to a job at a farm or something. They should be mounting coups and all this and helping out other people.
Do you not think if we're going to put them doing, it would be better to put them doing sooner rather than later?
Well, I think that if you said a tag or something on them, you just zap them any time the day ain't rang. Or you could maybe put them on a exercise bike and generate energy.
Generates a bit of electricity.
Aye, because I mean, it would save a lot. And
I just think killers need to go. I just think we need shot of them from the earth. We don't really need these people.
Aye, I think we should have, like, depending on what they've done, so much of this.
I think if it's murder, they should go. But I think, as you say, if they're just crims in general, then get them on the treadmill making electricity.
Because I mean, look at the waste that Scotland's got. Really, this could save a lot of it. You think of the people that get away with things in Scotland.
It just stops. I think we just need to be a lot tougher.
Aye, I mean, I really despise sort of these Neds, as we'd call them. Feral youths is the way you'd put it.
The feral youths, yes.
I really hate them.
Yeah, because they won't put their time on the earth to good use.
Aye, I mean, they just go out and get drunk and start getting violent and all that.
They're just very empty-headed. They're not channeled or focused.
Aye, but I think that they'll be made to pay later in life.
Oh, they will.
They're going to have the education that me and you've got.
They're going to get the bill. They're going to get the bill, Willie, for their carry on.
Aye.
That's what it is. Listen, I'm going to dash.
Aye, right. Cheers, Scottie.
You look after yourself. And Dinky Doo.
Sorry.
Yes.
I'll play a tune for you tomorrow night.
You're a wonderful man. You're a wonderful man.
Right.
Hey,
How you doing?
Dinky Doo, Willie. Right, there we go. To the telephones, folks. 0141 429 0963. So much to get through tonight. So little time to do it in. We're trying to stop violence in the streets, and I'm advocating the return of the death penalty, not especially for first-degree murder in the first degree, murder one, but I'm not talking about hanging here. I'm talking about lethal injection. If a person's found guilty of killing another, then it should be good night, Vienna. That will get the message across. To the telephones as soon as you possibly can. A lot of you on the line and ringing. I shall come to you. Right, just talking to the wizard there. Sorry about that, folks. Back to the telephones. Who's that? Hello?
Hello, Scotty.
Who's that?
It's Whisper.
Whisper, how are you?
I'm very good, Scotty, and I've just had a wee bit of problems with my voice tonight, but I still want to talk to you.
No bother. Good to hear from you.
I love your show, Scotty.
It's excellent to hear. What can I do for you?
Well, I could talk to you about all the issues, but I think you've run out of time, Scotty. If we covered them all, you've got a great policy with the heroin addiction.
Right. That's what we're doing.
That needs to be sorted because that works in other European countries.
Do you think you should be able to get them on prescription?
Oh yes, because it can be prescribed cleanly and people can live a normal life and go on with raising their kids instead of going out trying to.
And do you think that would put a stop to all the drugging?
It would stop the drug dealers from making money out of people's misery, and it would stop lawyers from capitalising on all the crime as well.
And I think what it would do is stop all the burglary and things like that.
Oh yeah, Scotty. But anyway, Scotty.
Yes.
I want to talk about synthetic terrorism and how the government's using it as a fear.
Synthetic terrorism?
Yes, the government secret services are organising big terror attacks.
Oh, listen, I can't actually hear you. I can't hear what you're saying now.
The currency of fear, Scotty.
I can't hear what you're saying.
Carry out military action.
I think you've just made all that up, actually.
No, it's not, Scotty. There's rafts of evidence.
No, I think you'll have to go now because you're just making up a lot of fibs, and we don't want to give Duff Jen out to the public. Carol and the Gorbles.
Oh, Scotty, you okay?
I'm all right, yes.
You all right? It must have been a wee bit scary, eh?
A wee bit scary.
Yeah?
Yes. He was just making up a lot of shecht.
I think he was, just a wee bit.
He was talking shecht.
I wanted to ask you a question tonight. You said that you could talk about everything, really.
You can.
Well, I've got a best friend, okay, and she's been under a very stressful life.
When you say a best friend, do you mean yourself?
Well, a best friend, can I not say that?
Yes, of course you can, yes. It's just sometimes guys go into the doctor, and they say that it's their best friend's got a problem with...
I know.
All
yeah.
that.
Just between me and you, right?
Just between me and you, darling, yeah, I won't say a word.
Right, okay.
Okay, so your best friend...
it's a very stressful life, right?
Right.
She's still got a heartache, and I just really want to know how she's going to move on. How can she move on from that?
Are you at liberty to say, no names, no pack drill, are you at liberty to say what's caused her very stressful life?
Well,
Is it a man? Is it a woman? Is it a husband? Is it a mother?
It's more men, mothers, kids.
Right.
Just everything, basically took away from her.
Has she had children out of wedlock?
Yeah, she has, yeah.
Have her children been taken into care?
Yeah, they have, yeah.
Right, and is there a chance that she'll get her children back?
There is a chance that she will get her children back, but...
what sort of problems? Did she have problems with alcohol or drugs or anything like that, no?
No, not at all.
Was she just not coping?
She was just not coping, yeah.
Did she have a violent man?
Yes, she did, yeah.
Right, is the violent man now gone from her life?
Yes, he is.
Right.
2.5 years now, yes.
Right, that's excellent. So it's a question of moving on and rebuilding her life now.
Yeah.
What way ahead do you think she wants? Do you think she wants to have her children back?
Yeah, that's what she's aiming for, yeah.
Yeah, do you think she's got a chance of this? What criteria does she need to fulfill to get her children back?
basically, she needs to prove herself that she can, look after the house,
be a fit and proper mother.
Yeah, a fit and proper mother, yes.
And provide for the children.
Provide for them,
Is she looking at having local authority housing?
No, she's got her house.
She's got a house?
Yeah, she's got a 4 apartment for her kids, yeah.
Right, so she's got plenty of room for the children.
Yep, uh-huh.
And do you think she's going to be able to, with a bit of jiggling about, manage to get her income sorted?
Yeah, her incomes are all sorted, yeah.
Right, so what's...
It's just a matter of coping with the stress that she's under at the minute.
Now, what's causing the stress? Is it being without the children, or has she got a condition?
No, it's just been without the children. She worries a lot, and she's caused a lot of bad things have happened in her life.
Yes, she's difficult. She's lost her confidence.
Yeah.
She needs to get her confidence back.
Yes.
Right, well, I think the first person she needs to do is she needs to learn to trust herself.
Right, okay.
Right, that's the most important thing. So you'll have to convey all this to her, right?
Right, okay.
But she needs to learn to trust herself.
Okay.
And, then she needs to build on that trust, and she needs to bear out in reality the sort of trust that she feels in herself.
Right, okay.
So she's got to do some serious talking to herself.
Right, okay.
And she's got to find out what worries her in reality. And she's got to bear in mind that worrying itself will not help her.
Right, okay.
Right? Worrying is it's a negative energy.
Okay.
And she's got to look at turning her life into a positive so that her time on the earth is well spent and is spent to her satisfaction.
Right, okay.
Yes, because I think she'd like to do this probably.
Yes,
she'd like to get her life back on track, and I think not involve other people at all for the time in the shape of having a new man or anything like that. I think she just needs to look at survival in the first instance and strengthening her facility and ability to survive.
Right, okay.
Right?
Okay.
And the way to strengthen that is to start believing in herself.
Okay.
To start saying, this is the moment and I am the one.
Okay.
To start appreciating that she is a good-looking person and a good person and, accept herself for what she is.
Okay.
How does that sound? I think that's enough for just now, because that's quite a lot to have to pass on, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is so Scotty.
But it's not too much.
It's not too much.
No,
but
it's
wonderful.
just about right.
Yes.
All right, and you tell her that she's a lovely person.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, darling. Night-night.
Night-night.
Night-night, Carol. Night-night, darling. Right, there we are. A lot of it's to do with confidence, folks. 0141 429 0963. Scottie McClue, live on Q96. Back we go to the telephones. Angela Nielsen.
Uh-huh.
How are you doing, darling?
I'm fine, thanks.
Are you all right?
It was just about the...
Of course, it's a long tune, Nielsen, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, you just got the top of the tune, son. Right. Here we go. What a hike.
Uh-huh.
I should have taken rations with me.
Well, not that bad.
Now then.
It was about the topic you were talking about earlier, lethal injection.
The lethal injection for murder.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
I think we need the kind of scum-sucking pond life, no matter what's done it, what's caused it. I think these people need to go.
That's right. I totally agree with you, because my uncle was murdered about 8 years ago, and then when the people get out of the jail, they get moved across the road from us.
Ridiculous.
And we had to live with it.
No, I think we need to start coming down very heavy on anti-social behaviour, of which the extreme of antisocial behaviour is taking another person's life. And that has to be very, very seriously clamped down on. And we don't need any namsy-pamsy, wishy-washy, socialisty-woshlisty type of nonsense. We need to actually have it very clear in everyone's mind that if you take a life, there's every chance you'll lose your own.
That's it.
You know?
Right.
And we need backed up by the police, the courts, the lawyers, the lot. And
I agree with you.
thank you for bringing that up, Angela. I'm sorry that you've had to go through that as a family, and I hope that you find strength for the future.
Right, no bother, Scotty.
Bless you, darling. Night. Cheers now. Right, 0141 429 0963. I've got Kenny, who's in Greenock. Are you there, Kenny?
Yeah, hi, Scotty. Good to talk to you.
Are you a branch of the green oak tree?
I'm afraid so. That's the one, yeah.
How wonderful. How wonderful. It's a very fine place, Greenock. You know, I'd like Greenock to become the financial capital of the world.
Well, very good. And you'll know that very well. I'm not going.
I'd like to see the tail of the bank absolutely fat with ships trading with China.
Yeah, and that's what I'm actually on to speak about, Scotty. Greenock being this knife sort of culture that's sort of upon us now, and these bins at the police stations, etc., to drop these knives in. Don't you feel that maybe a 5-year minimum sentence for anyone carrying a knife would go down quite well?
Oh, I think that would go down very well. You see, here's another interesting thing, right? You've triggered something in my brain here, right?
Uh-huh.
Why don't we go back to having local opt-outs for the law? So you've got something like Greenock. Now, Greenock is perhaps one of the finest places in the world, and I say that with an absolute straight face.
I know that.
It's a beautiful town. It's by a wonderful river. It's got huge assets. It's got tremendous people. There's a lot of very warm people. Unfortunately, there's a terrific amount of unemployment. There's a lot of rats have already left the ship. That sort of thing. And we need to get jobs back into Greenock, and we need to give the Greenockians a great sense of self-worth again. And I would do anything for that, because I think it's such a wonderful town. You've got the Victoria Tower there, and all these marvellous buildings. And what we need to do, you hear about folk being stabbed in Greenock or shot in Greenock, this kind of thing, and you think to yourself, what on earth's going on here? So perhaps there should be legal autonomy in the town, where they say, look, it's all very well, Mr. Scottish Executive, you sticking your neb in, but we are Greenock. We have got special circumstances at the moment, and we want to turn that around. So don't be comparing us with the West End of Edinburgh or the West End of Glasgow or whatever. We are Greenock, and we want to sort our problems out. Give us the legal powers to allow us to do so.
Yeah, it's just a small minority that really brings it.
And to run these folk right out of tune.
Yep, that's the one. And I'm travelling home from work at the moment. I work in the naval base in Fars Lane, and I can only pick you up sort of because we don't get much of a reception down there. But when you used to be in the air a couple of years ago in another station, obviously I wouldn't mention.
Sure.
It was great to hear from you, Scotty, and it's great to have you back in the air again. All these Neds that call you up, they're just flaming idiots, and there's a lot of decent people out there, and you do give a lot of very good advice and very good for the nation. You're spot on, you really are.
Kenny, will you give my fondest regards to Greenock, and let's hope that we can turn it into the financial capital of the world.
That's it, Scotty, and if you actually take a sort of visit down, they're doing quite a lot of building work on the waterfront of Greenock at the moment, quite a lot of properties going up, so there is a lot of investment going into the area and stuff,
Round about where the old Greenock Dockyard Company were.
That's it. There was actually a fire last night, Scotty, in that listed building, which is just as you sort of come along by Capello, the old sort of...
The old Garnavel House, no? Not Garnavel, sorry, Garville House.
That's the one, yep. There was a sort of a fire there last night, and I don't know what had actually happened, but I think they're going to bring that building down now.
Oh, what a shame. That was a wonderful old early Georgian house, wasn't it?
Yes, that's the one, yes.
Is that there? Because that was the old Garville estate.
Yeah, years gone by.
And years gone by, yes. What a shame. But, that building's been empty for a long, long time, mind you. I think it will have lost its cornicing.
Yes. And with that fire last night, I think that will be the end of it now. I think they'll be bringing that down. No doubt there'll be more property going up in the area, but it's certainly, just a small minority, Scotty, that brings the town down. And what really sickens me is you open up the paper and they might have a sort of temporary sheriff in the town, and there's somebody caught walking the streets with a knife and say, I was taking it to a pal's house,
Yeah, I think all knives should be licensed. I think we need to come down very, very heavily on this and say, definitely. If you've not got a license, you're going to be doing time.
Yeah, that's the one.
And the other thing would be get a couple of big prison ships and stick them off the tail of the bank there if we're running short of space. You know, there'd be nothing. There'd be no problem with that.
No, not at all. Not at all. Great to speak to you, Scottie.
Lovely to talk to you. Thanks again. All the best, Kenny. Cheers now. Bye-bye. There we are. Fantastic stuff. A Greenokian, a branch of the green oak tree. A very fine town, Greenock. If you're all listening in Greenock, I bid you Dinky Doo. You're listening to Scottie McClue, live on Q. Back after this, Talk Radio for Scotland and the world. Right, time is very, very tight, of course. Let's see if we can get you on and get you sorted. We're talking to Scott, who's in Knightswood. Hello, Scott. Are you there, Scott? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, you, Scottie.
Yes, sir.
How you doing? Dinky Doo.
Very well. Dinky Doo to you.
I'm just wanting to talk to you about your death penalty topic that you've been talking about tonight.
Yes.
Now, I agree and I disagree with it in some cases.
I understand.
Now, for the most heinous of murders, obviously you're talking about knife crime, people getting stabbed. It's a very personal thing. When you're if somebody's stabbing somebody, it's a personal injustice that they feel that they've been done. When usually it's nothing. Yeah. And I do believe that that should be penalised with the death penalty.
Can you imagine the difference in our law and order if they said Jimmy so and so got stabbed last night, right? And he died. Yep. An hour later, and they say, did they get who did it? Yes, it was that wee toe rag so and so. And they say, what happened to him? They said they put him down this morning just before breakfast.
Yep. And I believe, like, the words you used there are perfect. Putting down, they should be treated no more than dogs.
Well, it would even get dogs a bad name. Dogs are miles above that. Exactly. Dogs don't murder each other.
Exactly. But what my point is, Scottie, when the death penalty was in sort of inflow in Britain, and even also in most states in America, the death penalty is in flow. There's innocent people that do get killed.
Yeah, but remember we've got DNA now.
No, this is true. But the lethal injection topic, obviously, that is like the most harshest way to kill anybody, no matter like.
Now, how can that be harsh? I mean, surely a rope's an awful lot worse.
No, we'll see. A rope's an exact science because they've got to figure out your body weight to the weight to the.
Yeah, but a very skilled anaesthetist would be able to, get the dosage right, and they would be away in 30 seconds.
Well, I'll give you an example of something that's happened very, very, very recently, and it was all over the news.
Yeah, well, listen. I'm not going to go into specific cases because I can't discuss that on the wireless. I can't discuss a specific case, even if it did happen. Jamie in Knightswood, are you there, Jamie?
Hi, Scottie. How you doing?
I'm fine, mate. Dinky Doo.
It's marvellous to have you back on air.
It's good to be back, Jamie, I'll tell you that.
Aye, good. How long have you been back for?
I've been back for 3 months now. Have you just found out about us?
Aye, because I've been working in England with English folk.
Right, whereabouts have you been?
Grimsby.
Oh, Grimsby, I know it well.
Aye.
It's not a bad part of the world, actually.
Oh, that's all right, aye.
A lot of people knock it, but it's a nice part of the world down there.
Yeah, indeed. North Wales as well.
And did you go to Cleethorpes?
Of course.
Good man.
Ball on the Wednesday.
Good man. On the what on the Wednesday?
Bags ball.
Ah, that's it. It. Good on you, Jamie. No, it's lovely being back, mate.
Aye, well, I mean, we need the likes of you on there, giving us all the positive vibes and stuff, especially to that woman that was on earlier,
Yeah.
Turning her life around, perhaps, or was it her friend? I'm not sure.
Well, that's right. We think it was her friend.
Aye, good.
We think it was her friend, but I was saying to her, that lads go into the doctors, don't they? And they go, my friend's got a problem with a certain part of his anatomy.
Well, some people are shy, and they don't want to say,
That's right, and I think that even shy people should come on the wireless because, they're not so exposed as they would be, say, on a television or even writing in a newspaper.
Yep. Aye, that's a good idea. And did you not stay in Knightswood at some point? I'm sure I have.
I have, yes. I have stayed in Knightswood. Yes, a fine part of the world, double skin brick.
Aye, I'm in Hermitage Avenue.
Good quality housing.
Aye, it is. It's all right. I moved in with my family just about 7 months ago. And
good quality housing.
A wee daughter. And
you're some man.
11-year-old and another one due any day now.
Well, give them my finest regards. Say McClue's asking for them.
Aye, and it's great to have you back on.
And we'll catch up soon, Jamie. All the very best to you, bud. Right, I've got, who have I got here? Chris and Barton. Hello, Chris.
All right, Scottie, Dinky Doo.
How you doing, mate? Dinky Doo to you.
All right. I just want to talk about the lethal injection, first of all. Got a couple of points to make.
The lethal injection, Chris, yes.
Well, now the murderers that have already been in prison for, say, 10 years.
Yep.
I think we should give them the lethal injection as well, Scottie, because it's going to ease the overcrowding in the prisons as well.
Yes, certainly. The only trouble is you can't really go back and re-sentence, Chris. That's your problem.
All right.
You see, once somebody's been sentenced, you can't really go back. So if you've sentenced them to 10 years, you can't suddenly turn that one on and say, listen, we've changed our mind, we're going to put yous down.
But say they're supposed to be in for 20 years, but they've served 10 years of that sentence.
Yeah, even at that, though, you see, they've been tried and they've been given their sentence.
All right.
You know, so you see, say, for instance, I mean, they can appeal against sentences and all sorts of things, but you can't just suddenly re-sentence somebody. You could extend the sentence for bad behaviour.
Aye. Well, Scott, I've got Mac's point is about the judges that are very lenient towards criminals.
Yes.
Well, I think it's shocking, these judges, that, I mean, say you're committed murder and you get 20 years. Well, if you plead guilty to that charge, I mean, that sentence automatically halved. And then if you good behaviour in prison, you could be out after 5 years, and I just think it's despicable.
Well, that shouldn't really happen, should it? I mean, you can behave as well as you like, but in actual fact, you shouldn't get your sentence reduced.
I mean, I think we should get rid of these judges, because, I mean, it's just... I mean, that's no justice. People want justice, and that's certainly...
You've still done the crime, and you should do the time.
Exactly.
Absolutely, yes.
Right.